If you go down the hall to the history or religious studies department, you'll see there's a dispute in academic circles about the origin of the Zohar. Now, there's a few theories, but the main one divides between some profs who say it was written by Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, Rashbi, 18 centuries ago in ancient Israel, and some who say it was written by Kabbalist Moshe de Leon 8 centuries ago in medieval Spain, telling people that he wrote it, he copied it from a long-lost ancient manuscript by Bar Yochai. Basically, it comes down to a he said, she said. Because after de Leon's death, when a scholar from Israel came to see the original, Moses' wife told him that the manuscript that he said that he had copied, it never existed. So 700 years later, the experts piled on. Now, modern scholars find that the Zohar is written in an artificial Aramaic with stray influences from medieval Hebrew, and that some plants and animals in the book aren't even native to Israel, but Spain. But then you've got to ask yourself, since it also mentions aspects of science and biology that we could have only recognized in the last decade or so, and by the same reasoning, how come they're not saying that it was written in the year 2000 by a scientist? That'd be crazy, right? They say what they say because they're not engaging the book on its terms. You can't judge this book by its cover or by its style or even the words it uses. You have to need what's in it. When you know the Zohar reflects the laws of nature from beginning to end, those quirks of time and fact, they're a wink and a nod to let us know that it's speaking to us now. It's meant for us now, and it always speaks in the present. Forget about that. The history of the Zohar is really a story about the ripening and eventual readiness of the human spirit to grow. There's a unique quality about the presence of Kabbalistic writings. They play this hide and seek with our ability to measure them from the outside. That's because Kabbalists make efforts to conceal them so they can be found by people with a true need to seek them out. Their authors know that the process of change demands two conditions: the right moment and maturity of the soul. In the 2nd century, just after the destruction of the Second Temple, Shimon Bar Yochai was a principal student of the monumental Kabbalist Rabbi Akiva, and among the leaders of the Bar Kokhba revolt against Roman rule. Tried in absentia, he was sentenced to death by the emperor, and for years they tried to capture him, but he seemed to have vanished. For 13 years he hid with his son in a cave in the Galilee, where they continued the study of the wisdom, and were granted the highest attainment of spiritual knowledge the Kabbalists from Abraham to Moses had acquired over the 3,000 years before his time, uncovering the entire system of nature. At the death of the emperor, Bar Yochai chose 9 students and called them Idra Rabbah, the Great Assembly. They were 10 men whose inner qualities precisely matched the qualities of the natural system. In a cave on Mount Meron, he and his students created the book of Zohar, telling them, "I am arranging you as follows. I will speak. My son Elazar will engage orally. Rabbi Abba will write, and the rest of the friends will converse in their hearts." He told them that the Zohar could only be revealed at the end of the exile, and its appearance to the masses would signal the completion of a 6,000-year period given for the correction of humanity. As soon as the Zohar was completed, it was hidden, because they knew at that time that the people of the world didn't need it, and therefore would not understand what it said. Its pages were buried in a cave near the town of Sfat, and stayed hidden for 900 years, until they were discovered by a boy who sold them as wrapping paper to a fish merchant. A Kabbalist from the town saw and immediately bought up what remained of the pages, collecting them into a book which was secretly studied in small groups, making its way to Spain 200 years later. Still, its meanings remained closed, until in 16th century Sfat, a young Kabbalist, Isaac Luria, the Ari, was able to grasp it at its deepest level. Using an arrangement of students similar to Rabbi Shimon's, he created works, the Tree of Life and the Gatehouse of Intentions, laying open the message and the method that had been locked in the book. From that point, anyone could study, provided they already possessed the correct intention and need. It's the nature of hidden things that they can only be discovered at a suitable moment when suitable souls are born into the world. It wasn't until the 20th century, and history's fiercest explosion of human desire, in the generation for which the Zohar was intended, that a unique soul appeared. That of Rabbi Yehuda Ashlag, called Baal HaSulam, the master of the ladder, the only Kabbalist in the 20th century to write commentaries on the Zohar and the works of the Ari. His work gave us the necessary final link connecting the lofty reach of the wisdom to our human experience. He is the only Kabbalist to ever offer a clear, working method that can be used by anyone in the world. The question of why the Zohar was written is far more important than the question of who wrote it. The Zohar can't be understood and felt directly. It requires preparation and an accurate preconception of spirituality. Baal HaSulam's introductions to the book of Zohar, they guide a person's approach. They cultivate our inner properties so they can clearly see it and we can enter it. And just as Shimon Bar Yochai said 2,000 years ago, millions of people around the world are now finding the Zohar, and through Baal HaSulam's works are able to open an entirely new level of existence. And now you are part of the story.